Hello everyone, I'm Luxon. Some new Pokemon games were revealed today. This isn't going to be too much of a discussion on the games themselves, but more so of an analysis of the region, which is why all you're seeing is my Windows photo viewer window, and also because I would get the video taken down if I actually tried to upload any screenshots or anything of the trailer. But opinions on the thing overall, I'm erring on the cautious side of cautiously optimistic, because they really shouldn't have reused the 3DS engine again. Like, yeah, they're iterating on it. Yeah, it looks so much better than Let's Go ever did. But it still just looks like an HD version of Sun and Moon with a few added flares, which is really disappointing. Because they say they're going to try a bunch of new stuff, but then the game just looks exactly like the previous ones did, but with a slightly better, with a much better resolution and slightly better technical stuff. Like, yeah, Game Freak has never been too good at the technical side of stuff, but I feel like if they wanted to really show that they were trying new stuff, they could have actually made a new engine. And they're reusing the same models from the 3DS, so the colors do look a lot better in this than any of the 3DS games. So but I feel like the Gen 6 models have kind of outstayed their welcome by now. Besides that, though, I was originally worried that this map looked really compact and dense, not really sure, like the Alola 1, basically. But based on the trailer, all of the towns and cities are bigger than they appear on the map, and the routes are much longer here, so while this might look like a Kalos Route 1 situation, I'm pretty sure it isn't, which is always a good sign. Also, it's not as detailed as showing you every individual grass patch on the routes. I think this is the route that showed the first wild encounter, so that's really good, because that means that we're not as zoomed in as we have been in previous region maps. And also, if you come up here, this area in the trailer, when showing by the thing of the giant whatever, is much more layered and detailed than it shows up in the map here. So it looks like the region's going to be a lot more detailed than this is let on. This is just more of a stylized thing. Yeah, the only real stuff I have to say is graphic-wise, other than that, is going to be a regular Pokemon game. So that doesn't bother me at all. I just like regular Pokemon. I just kind of wish that they'd update the pizzazz more. That's kind of the big thing for me, because I'm gonna enjoy it no matter what. It's just whatever. But I do really like the art direction. I think that's going to be carrying it a lot more than the actual technical side of the visuals. So that's good. Hopefully they do manage to improve in the few months until release. That did make me realize a thing that I'm a little disappointed about. Ever since Gen 5-ish, which is coincidentally the time that they stopped doing Japan regions, they went really in on the art direction specifically matching the theming of the country or area that each region is based on. So we've had that for Unova to some degree, then Kalos, Alola, now Galar. It's a shame that we've never actually seen any of the Japan regions with that specific style of art direction. Let's Go didn't do that at all, and the most recent time we'd seen Johto was Gen 4. The Hoenn remakes were kind of direct remakes, so I didn't get much of that, so that's kind of disappointing. I hope they do that for the Johto Let's Go game, but anyway, I think we could finally talk about the Galar region, which, as you may have been able to tell, is based on the United Kingdom. Mostly England, but upside down. So, this city here is obviously supposed to be London, given the clock tower and the Ferris wheel, and these buildings in here, but it's also got some, city stuff, and we could tell pretty well that the starting town, because I think this is the house, one of these is the houses as it shows up in the trailer, so your starting town is down here, and it would seem that the Pokemon League would be all the way up here in not London, but my guess would be that the league is actually up here, and you visit the city for some other stuff earlier on in the story. You just don't get to challenge the league, and then maybe Victory Road is you have to pass a trial somewhere outside the city in order to get up there or something. But here's your starting town. This is the UK but minus Wales. So if you take the UK and flip it upside down, hold on, I'm really stupid, so I'm gonna actually Google Maps this, because I kind of forget. I know what shape it is, but I forget what that shape would look like upside down. So, okay, yeah, I was right. Wales kind of should be over here somewhere, but it isn't. They just kind of completely removed it. On the other hand, though, this might vaguely be the southern part of Scotland. That's the other thing. Um, if the Pokemon world is oriented in the same way that the real world is, and this is the south end of England, we should be able to see Kalos. Like, Kalos should be right over the horizon there, since, is France, but the distances might be separate and all that kind of stuff, even though we do know that the northern coast of Kalos is water. It could also be that, because this is most likely a north-south map of Galar, which means that it is actually, like, the stuff that would be the south of the UK is the north of Galar. So if that's the case, then maybe Kalos is down here somewhere, but also you can't really see the coast here. There might be more Scotland up here, which would mean that there's just land and not water, although it does seem to be sort of angling in a little bit. But this is obviously your starting town. You see a bunch of stuff in this general area. My guess would be this is your Pokemon lab. Oh, also, I already mentioned that. Never mind. So I'm getting one of these is your house, one of these is your rival's house. It looks like there's a path leading into the woods here, so this could be one of your first dungeons. Then there's other town, which I'm guessing that this doesn't really count as a town. You just kind of live here. Then this is the nearest town. There's farmland here, so your family might be farmers or something. And so you go here. This could be the lab too, since that looks very greenhousey. But I have a feeling that this might actually be. Then you have a dungeon in here. And this is the interesting part. We see one thing that's definitely a gym in the trailer, and that's this building. I'll talk more about gym types and stuff later, but we see this in the trailer, and it very obviously looks like a gym. It sort of looks like a sports stadium too, and there was that one shot of the male trainer in a uniform, but you also saw a battle taking place in a stadium, so that could just be some sort of aesthetic or something, but my guess would be that they take football and turn it into Pokemon battling. So the gyms are stadiums, and they're like actual big events, and there's teams and stuff, and you just have to beat all the gyms who might be represented by the captain of a battling team or something, and then use that to head to the league, which actually makes more sense. Maybe even the league will actually be a tournament that you have to beat through to get to the Elite Four, and that's what they like I guess like the anime leagues would be, but you still have to fight the Elite Four and champion at the end. So you start around here. I'm guessing you get your Pokemon here, or this is your first dungeon, or this is your first dungeon. You do a couple things around here. You can see some breaks in the path, so that might represent tall grass, I'm not sure. But cool thing is, you don't see gyms until like up here, which is about halfway through the region by latitude. These are the southernmost gyms, and you start way down here at the southern tip. And you got this area in here, which doesn't have any settlements at all and looks extremely, extremely natural. But you do have this train bridge, and you also have this train station here going into the mountain. So my guess would be that this is your National Parky Safari Zone area. I'm pretty sure it's in the same place as like a bunch of national parks or that sort of area in the actual UK. Oh yeah, there is a national park called Lake District National Park. This is lakes, so I'm guessing that that's just kind of a conglomerate of all those areas. So what you're most likely going to do is hop on the train here, choo-choo through the mountains, come out here-ish, pop out either on this route, which looks like there's a dungeon cave in here, like maybe the mine area that we saw before, though that could be in here somewhere too, and you pop out in Steampunk City. So you do stuff here. You could have a first gym in there, like this building could be a gym, but this kind of just looks like a more generic cathedral or something. And because there tends to be a lot of games have big city that's like second biggest city in the region you get to before the first gym, then there's the first gym town. So there's that kind of thing. So my guess would be you show up in Steampunkington, and then you pop out along this bridge and head your way north through here. Actually, this looks like train tracks again, so I can't really tell where these end up, but you probably find your way here, and this might be your first gym. There's a boat and there's a port. So that could bring up the possibility of interregional travel, which is nice, and something I'll talk about more later. But here's the cool thing that gets me thinking emoji. If you look here, you got this town. There's obviously going to be a couple routes in here to get you through this area. Then there's this town, which has a gym. The lighthouse might be a minor area or something. There's this route with a mansion on it. There's this town. There's this route to the south, which it looks like you might be able to get to here from this cave, actually. So maybe, and you pop out here, you go along here, there's this house up there, you go through the cave, come out here, and then your first gym is there. That's a possibility. Or you could come up through this way. But what it looks to me is that there might be some non-linearity in this game, and that's very, very exciting. So let's say you come out through here, you go through this way. Here's your first gym. You see this cool thing, which I think might be tied. I think it is tied to some actual uh, line drawing pictograph thing in the real world. You come across this bridge, past the bench, and here's a little gardeny area. This could be like, there have been equivalents to this in other games. So you come up through here. Here's your second gym. And then somehow eventually you end up in this city, which looks very castle-y fort-like, which is cool. And that's a dragon head on there. That's cool because we might get our first legendary dragon themed after a Western dragon, especially if it's going the Arthurian medieval fantasy direction, which I'm very excited for. So, Dragon Head Giant. Dragon and Giant based legendary sound pretty cool to me. Now, there could be a gym in this city, but I don't see one. Also, this is some whack-ass looking fantasy castle here. Like, look at this. It's got random things jutting out and stuff, and it looks like parts are broken off. So that's kind of interesting. Also looks like there's a cave up here leading to a train station. So this could be your Victory Road, maybe? There's also this train that goes in there, and you never see where it comes out, so that could pop out here and get you up to London. Then from here, you got both east and west directions. This one leads to a route with something, and then a town with what looks to be a gym. Then there's this wall that presumably leads you through the mountain to this other town with a gym. And then this way, you got here, which looks to be a little settlement. And then here through some sort of fort area, which looks like it's going to be your designated desert. And then that poops you up in this area, which I'll talk about more here. This looks like a bit of a symbolic representation of a town as opposed to there being one giant building with a gym on top of it. And then a route down here into designated icy water area that's obviously reined in there so you can't get out of the region. Then I'm guessing you can also, once you reach this city, you can come back south through here. That's going to be a couple routes. There's a little more deserty stuff here. I can see them putting fossil areas in that general direction. Then you come in here. I guess this could be your safari zone. There is what looks to be a train station here too. So you could just come in here and then pop out there. But I'm guessing that you have to come through this city, because there's no way that they'd make you walk through the biggest wild area of the region before you get to the first gym, because that would mean if you come out here, you have to get through all of this. You can enter the steampunk town from here, then from there get to the grass area. But I feel like draw comparisons to other regions. You only have to go through like 3 routes in between Petalburg and Rustborough in Hoenn. That's what I'm thinking of. Jubilife to Orberg is like 2 routes in a tiny cave. Unova slips my mind. Johto kind of slips my mind. But you don't go very far from Cherry Grove to the first gym isn't too far. So I could see this much looks like more than 1 route's worth. So they could just like, bam, this is our cool visual area, and then there's your medieval ruins, then that puts you here, and then you have another route and a cave and another. That just looks like too many routes. So my guess would be you show up, you go from getting your Pokemon straight to here, and then you have 2 routes and a cave to get to there. So this is just your big exploring area. Maybe you could take this train and that's a shortcut back here. But then we see the interesting part. Also, there's this thing here. This looks contest hall-y to me. I don't know if that's actually what it is. Could be a museum or something. I'm very obviously not from the UK, so I'm not going to know a lot of this stuff. But I can make guesses based on things that have been in other Pokemon games. This looks like it could be a contest hall or performance area. So I'm guessing you do end up in this city sometime before the end of the game, because they're not going to put you in London and then not let you fight the Pokemon League. Or like hold off on all this stuff besides the Pokemon League until you get there. So my guess would be this is whatever the performance thing for this generation is. It just happens to be headquartered there and all that stuff. As for gym types, though, you do see this gym in the trailer. That emblem is a green leaf thing. It could maybe be a feather, but it looks a lot leafier than, say, the Earth Badge. So I'm guessing that this is actually a grass gym and not a ground gym or a flying gym. You can't see the symbols on any of the other ones in the trailer, but based on where they are and the colors on the outside, I can make an educated guess, because you can only see purple here in the trailer, or purple here on the map, but in the trailer it's green and purple, which makes some sense with grass and poison. This one, it's on the water. Like, it's got to be water type. And you can see the color of the symbol is pretty blue, and the symbols on the walls look to be pretty blue, so that's pretty solid here. This one is obviously going to be rock, ground, or steel, and my guesses are going to be rock and ground because of something that I'll get to in a minute. Up here, you got your nice secluded little, very fairy tale-esque village with some a little more medieval style housing and some bioluminescent mushrooms. If you can't catch Morlul somewhere around here, I'll be very surprised and moderately disappointed. But this gym can't be grass, because this one's definitely grass. So what could this one be? It could be flying, because it looks like the sort of sky blue they tend to use for flying on the symbol there. But there's a lot of pink stuff on here. The spires are pink, as opposed to here the spires are green and here they're brown. So it could be fairy. It could also be dragon, maybe. But fairy is probably the best guess. If you... It's 3. If you... Where's the 4th one? Come on. No, that was 4. I already did 4. Alright. 5. Here, you got black spires. What looks to be a dark gray type symbol here. It's in the ice area, so you'd think it would be ice, but I'm leaning towards steel. Now, again, the spires are black, so this could actually be our first dark type gym. That could be what they mean by, like, actually mixing stuff up and doing cool things and all that. But, I don't know. It kind of screams steel to me. It could also be dark if this is a different architectural style. It could be, like, invaders from another region or something. So, you'll notice that there are only 5 gyms on the map. And, Wales they completely cut out, but what should be the rest of Scotland is kind of shrouded by mist. And you got this forest in here, you don't know where it leads, that is also kind of shrouded by mist, so there could be the rest of Scotland. And also, the way this map is cropped and angled, the actual UK isn't directly north-south, even if you get rid of Wales. It's pretty tilted. So, if you turn it around a little bit, Ireland should be somewhere, like, right here-ish. Like, let me think. Yeah, it should be closest to the mainland around here, so it would be, like, either right here under those clouds or barely off-screen. Doesn't look like there's Isle of Man. So, it's possible that, because there are only 5 gyms here, there could be, like, ones in other looking buildings, but also, we haven't had uniform-looking gyms for a couple generations, since Sinnoh, I think, have all the gyms, like, actually look the same from the outside, barring remakes, obviously, because all the Unova ones look different to some degree, all the Kalos ones look different to some degree, all the Alola ones didn't exist. So these all have a specific designed look to them. So it would be very surprising for me if 5 of them looked the same but with color differences, and then the other 3 just kind of didn't. Now, they could just do 5 badges, and that would be, like, really stupid. But my guess would be either some of the gyms are, like, inside or under the clouds, or what we see of Galar isn't the entire picture. Because if you think about it, let's see, how many routes are in Kanto? I'll just use Kanto as an example, because those are Kanto routes. How many routes are there? List of routes. There we go. Thank you, Bulbapedia. Kanto goes 1 to 25. Although a lot of the routes are kind of connected. Johto has 29 to 46, so that's like 15. Hoenn has a lot. Wow. Hoenn has 34. Sinnoh has 30. Unova has 23, although 4 of them are only in black and white too. Kalos has 22, and Alola has 17. So like 16, 17 are the smallest amount of roots we've ever had. And if you're looking at this, you got maybe 1, 2. This could, we'll count this as 3, 4, 3. We'll count that like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 maybe, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, it looks a lot like the least amount of roots ever so far, so they might have to actually bump up the... Obviously, the cities are going to be big and stuff, and there are plenty of caves and things that we're not seeing, but in terms of numbered routes, I don't see any more than the smallest regions in the game, and that's only 5 badges, so it looks like somehow, somewhere, we're going to get 3 more gyms just somewhere that's not on this map, and that's very exciting to me. In terms of like plot and legendaries, the logos for Sword and Shield, they obviously have the wolf heads on them, so I'm guessing that this has something to do with like the mascot dog legendary thing of the ancient kingdom or whatever, which is neat, sounds neat to me. My guess would be that that's the 3rd legendary of the trio, and you're trying to like help revive its power to protect the land from some evil team that's trying to use either the dragon or the giant, depending on your version and all that. But yeah, that's all I got. I managed to squeeze a lot more information than I really should out of just one image. And yeah, see you this weekend for a Xenoblade video. Till next time, this is Luxon, signing off.